The Martian dust storm howled like a wounded beast, its crimson particles battering against the reinforced windows of Research Station Horizon. Dr. Amanda Blackwood stood at the observation deck, her green eyes fixed on the swirling chaos outside. 6 years of digging through Mars' ancient secrets had taught her patience, but today felt different. The sensors had picked up something unprecedented, a perfect geometric pattern buried 3 kilometers beneath the surface. "Doctor, the storm's intensity is increasing," Marcus Reynolds, her lead technician, called from his monitoring station. "If we're going to abort the excavation, now's the time." Amanda tightened her ponytail, a habit she'd developed during her doctoral days at Stanford. "We're not aborting anything. Deploy the plasma shields and prepare the burrower for launch." The massive excavation vehicle hummed to life in the hangar below. Its diamond-tipped drills could cut through Martian bedrock like butter, guided by quantum positioning systems that kept it stable even in the planet's worst storms. The Interstellar Science Coalition had spared no expense on this expedition, though Amanda suspected even they would be surprised by what she was about to discover. "Plasma shields at maximum capacity," Marcus announced, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls. "Burrower prepped and ready for remote operation." "But doctor, these readings, they're unlike anything in our database." Amanda smiled. "That's exactly why we're going in." The burrower descended through layers of ancient Martian soil, its sensors painting a 3-dimensional map of the surrounding geology. 2 kilometers down, they hit the first anomaly, a perfect sphere of empty space, untouched by millions of years of tectonic activity. "That's impossible," Marcus whispered, adjusting his readings. "The structural integrity. It's like something's holding the chamber together at a molecular level." Amanda leaned closer to the screens, her heart racing. "Push forward. Whatever's down there, it wanted to be found." At exactly 3 kilometers depth, the burrower's lights illuminated something that would rewrite human history. A doorway, 20 meters high, carved from an unknown metal that seemed to drink in the light. But it wasn't the door's size that made Amanda's breath catch in her throat. It was what was encoded into its surface. "Marcus, are you seeing this?" Her voice trembled slightly. The technician's face had gone pale. That's human DNA. A perfect molecular diagram of human DNA, encoded in a structure that predates our species by millions of years." Amanda activated her neural recorder, making sure every detail was being captured. The door's surface wasn't static. Microscopic patterns flowed through the metal-like liquid, forming and reforming the double helix pattern in a hypnotic dance. "Run a full spectral analysis," she ordered, her scientific training taking over. "And get me a secure line to Coalition Command." This just became a priority alpha discovery. As Marcus complied, something changed. The door's surface rippled, and a new pattern emerged alongside the DNA sequence. A message written in perfect English. "Welcome home, Arsenal," Marcus read aloud, his voice barely a whisper. Before Amanda could respond, the storm outside intensified dramatically. Warning alerts flashed across every screen as the facility's sensors detected massive energy spikes emanating from the buried structure. "Doctor, something's happening," Marcus shouted over the sudden cacophony of alarms. "The door, it's responding to our presence." Amanda watched in awe as lines of light spread from the door, racing through the surrounding rock like glowing veins. The burrower's sensors reported impossible readings, quantum fluctuations, temporal distortions, and energy signatures that defied known physics. "Send everything we have to the secure servers," she commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Whatever this is, whatever built this, they were waiting for us, and I think they left us more than just a door." As if in response to her words, the flowing patterns on the door's surface began to align, forming a complex mechanism that started to turn. After millions of years of silence, humanity's greatest discovery was about to reveal its secrets, and nothing would ever be the same. 72 hours after the discovery, Research Station Horizon had transformed into a fortress of scientific activity. Coalition specialists from every field crowded the facility's labs, their excited chatter filling the corridors. But in the heart of the station, within the heavily guarded data analysis chamber, Dr. Amanda Blackwood faced a silence broken only by the soft hum of quantum processors. "Play it again," she commanded, rubbing her temples. The holographic display flickered to life, showing the strange symbols they'd extracted from the facility's first data crystal. The patterns shifted and flowed, almost like living things. "That's the 27th time, Doctor," Marcus noted, concern evident in his voice. "Maybe we should take a break." Amanda shook her head, her eyes never leaving the display. "There's something here, something we're missing. The symbols respond to human brainwave patterns, but they're not just a language. They're more like instructions." Professor James Harrison, the Coalition's leading xenolinguist, stepped forward from his workstation. "She's right. Look at this sequence here." He gestured, and the hologram zoomed in on a particular pattern. "It's not just telling us something, it's showing us how to read the rest of the data. It's a key." The revelation hit Amanda like a physical force. "Quick, sync the pattern with the neural interface. Match it to human theta waves." The effect was immediate and stunning. The seemingly random symbols transformed, restructuring themselves into coherent data streams. Images began to form in the holographic space, star maps, genetic sequences, and finally, a message that made Amanda's blood run cold. "Project Ancient Arsenal," she read aloud, her voice barely a whisper. "Final protocol. Species designation, human. Creator classification, the predecessors." The room fell silent as more information poured forth. Three-dimensional models of human DNA appeared, but they were unlike anything in medical databases. Hidden sequences lay dormant within the genome, carefully engineered and waiting for activation. "This can't be right," Professor Harrison muttered, adjusting his glasses. "According to these timestamps, this facility is over 3 million years old. That predates everything," Amanda finished. "It predates everything we thought we knew about human evolution." She stepped closer to the display, watching as it showed the careful engineering of what would become the human species. "We weren't a cosmic accident. We were designed." The hologram shifted again, showing a vast starship of unmistakably alien design. Its surface rippled with dark energy, consuming everything in its path. Then, another image. Human beings, but transformed, wielding powers that defied physics itself. "They created us as weapons," Marcus realized, his face pale in the hologram's light. "But against what?" As if answering his question, the station's long-range sensors suddenly blared to life. Red warning indicators filled every screen as automated systems detected something massive approaching from the outer solar system. Commander Sarah Reynolds burst into the chamber, her usual composed demeanor shaken. "Dr. Blackwood, we're picking up an unknown fleet at the edge of the Kuiper Belt. Energy signatures match nothing in our database, but..." She paused, looking at the alien ship still displayed in the hologram. "They match that." Amanda's mind raced as pieces fell into place. The facility's awakening, the hidden sequences in human DNA, and now this approaching force. It couldn't be coincidence. "The predecessors didn't just leave us a message," she said, her voice growing stronger with certainty. "They left us a warning, and a way to fight back." She turned to the assembled team, her green eyes bright with determination. "We need to decode the activation protocols. Now." "Doctor," Marcus interrupted, his voice shaking slightly. "There's something else. The fleet's trajectory. They're not just passing through. They're heading straight for Earth, and at their current speed, we have less than 2 weeks before first contact." The hologram flickered one final time, showing a simulation of human DNA unfolding like a blooming flower, revealing possibilities that defied imagination. The predecessors had engineered humanity for this moment, hidden potential within every strand of human DNA. Now, as an ancient enemy approached, that potential was about to be unleashed. Amanda squared her shoulders, facing her team. "Well then," she said, a hint of steel in her voice, "we better make sure we're ready for them." The ancient facilities chamber hummed with energy that made Dr. Amanda Blackwood's teeth ache. Holographic displays filled the massive space, showing the approaching Void Collective fleet's inexorable advance through the solar system. They had already passed Neptune's orbit, leaving behind only silence where research stations once broadcasted. Final diagnostics complete, Marcus announced from his position at the control interface. Dark circles under his eyes betrayed the endless hours of work. "The activation chamber is, well, it's ready. As ready as we can make it." Amanda studied the crystalline structure dominating the center of the room. What once looked like an elaborate door had transformed into something else entirely, a chamber of flowing metal and light, its surface constantly shifting with patterns of human DNA. "Show me the simulation results again," she ordered, though she'd memorized them days ago. Professor Harrison stepped forward, his tablet projecting the data. The facility's records are clear. The predecessors designed the activation process to unlock dormant genetic sequences within human DNA. But the energy requirements... He shook his head. "It's like trying to rewrite the fundamental laws of physics for a single person." "And we're sure about the genetic markers?" Amanda asked, though she already knew the answer. Her own DNA scan glowed on a nearby screen, key sequences highlighted in pulsing red. "You're the only viable candidate within 50 million kilometers," Commander Reynolds confirmed. "Your genetic structure matches the facility's requirements with a 99.8% correlation. The next closest match barely reaches 60%. A distant rumble shook the facility. The Void Collective had reached the Mars defense perimeter, and the first battles had begun. Early reports painted a grim picture. Human weapons seemed to pass right through their ships, as if reality itself bent around them. "They're using quantum manipulation technology," Marcus explained, pointing to new sensor data. "Their ships exist in multiple states simultaneously. Conventional weapons can't touch them because they're literally shifting between realities." Amanda approached the activation chamber, her reflection distorted in its flowing surface. "And that's why the predecessors created us. They knew the Void Collective was coming, knew we'd need to fight an enemy that breaks the rules of reality itself." "Doctor," Harrison warned, "the risks are astronomical. The process could kill you. Or worse, the changes might be so fundamental that you lose everything that makes you human." The chamber pulsed, as if responding to their conversation. Amanda placed her hand against its surface, feeling the strange warmth beneath her palm. "Show me the last recording again, the one from the predecessors." The holographic space shifted, showing a figure that seemed both familiar and alien. Its form was humanoid but fluid, shifting between states like light through crystal. When it spoke, its voice carried the weight of eons. "To those who find this facility, you are our legacy. We created you not just as weapons, but as inheritors. The enemy you face cannot be defeated by conventional means. They are the Void Collective, consumers of reality, destroyers of possibility itself. Within your DNA lies the power to stand against them, to protect all that is and all that might be. The activation will unlock your true potential, but the choice must be yours. Remember, your greatest strength lies not in the power we gave you, but in how you choose to use it." Another tremor shook the facility, stronger this time. Emergency alerts flashed across every screen. The Void Collective had breached Mars' outer defense ring. Amanda straightened her back. Decision made. Begin the activation sequence. "Dr. Blackwood." Commander Reynolds stepped forward. "The Coalition hasn't authorized this. We don't know what it will do to you." "No," Amanda agreed, stepping into the chamber as its crystal surfaces began to pulse with increasing intensity. "But we know what the Void Collective will do to Earth if we don't try." The chamber started to close around her, its surfaces flowing like liquid starlight. Through the crystalline walls, she could see her team's worried faces. "If this works," she said, her voice steady, "we might have a chance. If it doesn't..." She managed a small smile. Well, then humanity will have to find another way. They're good at that. The chamber sealed with a sound like singing crystal, and the transformation began. Light fractured through crystal, pain wrapped in revelation. Dr. Amanda Blackwood screamed as reality itself seemed to bend around her, the activation chamber's energy coursing through every cell in her body. Through the transparent walls, she could see her team frantically monitoring the readings, their faces distorted by the chamber's shifting surfaces. Neural patterns are destabilizing. Marcus's voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. We're losing her baseline consciousness. Commander Reynolds pressed against the chamber's outer surface. Abort the sequence. We have to shut it down. No. Amanda managed to gasp out, even as another wave of transformation racked her body. Keep going. The facility's ancient systems pulsed in harmony with her DNA, unlocking sequences that had lain dormant for millions of years. Each molecular change felt like fire and ice, like being unmade and reborn with every heartbeat. Through the haze of pain, memories that weren't her own began to surface. She saw the predecessors' last days, their desperate race to create humanity before the Void Collective consumed their civilization. She witnessed the careful engineering of human DNA, the hidden potential woven into every strand. And she understood, finally, why they had chosen Earth as humanity's cradle. Quantum resonance is approaching critical levels, Professor Harrison announced, his voice tight with concern. Her cellular structure is shifting. I've never seen anything like this. The chamber's crystal walls began to sing, a harmonic frequency that made reality ripple. Amanda felt her consciousness expanding, touching possibilities that had always existed just beyond human perception. The pain began to fade, replaced by something else. Understanding. Through the facility's sensors, she could see the Void-collected ships approaching Mars, their quantum-shifted forms distorting space itself. But now she could see something else too. The patterns beneath reality, the threads of probability they manipulated to make themselves untouchable. Life signs stabilizing, Marcus reported, relief evident in his voice. But these readings, they're impossible. She's generating quantum fields orders of magnitude beyond anything we can measure. The chamber surfaces began to flow like liquid light, responding to Amanda's newfound awareness. She raised her hand, watching as probability itself bent around her fingers. The pain was gone now, replaced by a sense of potential that took her breath away. Dr. Blackwood. Commander Reynolds called out. Are you still? You? Amanda smiled, though she knew her eyes now held something ancient and new. I'm me, she assured them. Just more. The chamber opened with a sound like breaking glass, releasing her into the facility's main room. Every step seemed to leave ripples in reality, probability waves spreading out like rings in a pond. The nearby screens crackled with energy, responding to her presence. The Void Collective has breached the inner defense ring, Harrison reported, though his eyes never left Amanda. They'll reach the facility within hours. Amanda nodded, watching the enemy fleets approach through new senses that defied description. They think they're unstoppable because they can manipulate quantum states, she said, her voice carrying strange harmonics. But the predecessors designed us to do something they never imagined possible. She raised her hand, and reality shimmered around the gesture. A holographic display exploded into life, showing human DNA sequences unlike anything they'd seen before. We can adapt, create new possibilities, change the rules they think are absolute. What are you saying? Marcus asked, fascinated despite his obvious fear. I'm saying we have a chance. Amanda's eyes gleamed with newfound power and human determination. But I can't do it alone. There are others out there with compatible genetics, people who can undergo the transformation. We need to find them, activate them, before the Void Collective reaches Earth. Commander Reynolds straightened, military training taking over. I'll contact Coalition Command. Get authorization for a global search. No time. Amanda interrupted, the facility's systems responding to her will now. The Void Collective is already here. We do this now, authorization or not. Every compatible human we can find, every possible weapon against them. She turned to her team, her form shimmering with barely contained energy. Who's with me? The choice hung in the air, heavy with consequence. The fate of humanity balanced on the edge of transformation, and time was running out. The Martian sky burned purple as the Void Collective's first wave breached the atmosphere. Their ships twisted reality around them, existing in multiple states simultaneously as they descended toward Research Station Horizon. Inside the facility's command center, Dr. Amanda Blackwood watched through both normal vision and her new quantum senses, seeing the fractal patterns of probability the aliens used to make themselves untouchable. Conventional weapons are useless, Commander Reynolds reported, watching defense turrets fire straight through the approaching vessels. They're shifting between quantum states faster than our targeting systems can track. Amanda nodded, her transformed consciousness processing multiple layers of reality at once. That's because they're not really ships. At least, not in the way we understand them. They're probability matrices, using quantum uncertainty as armor. Marcus worked frantically at his station, coordinating evacuation efforts. The nearest reinforcements are 4 hours out. We need to abandon the facility. No, Amanda said, her voice carrying strange harmonics. We need to show them why the predecessors chose humanity. She turned to Professor Harrison, who was still analyzing her post-transformation readings. The activation chamber. How many can it process at once? Harrison blinked, checking his data. 3, maybe 4. But we'd need compatible candidates, and the screening process alone would take. I can see the markers now. Amanda interrupted, her enhanced perception flowing through the facility sensors. There are 6 compatible individuals in the station's crew. We don't have time for screening. She gestured, and holographic displays showed the genetic patterns she could now perceive. They're ready. They just need to choose. The first impact rocked the facility. Through the reinforced windows, they watched a Void Collective ship phase through the perimeter wall like it was mist. Where it touched, reality itself seemed to unravel. Even if we activate others, Reynolds argued, we have no idea how to fight them. No training. No. Amanda's form shimmered, probability waves rippling around her. The predecessors didn't give us weapons, she said, walking toward the breach. They gave us understanding. She raised her hand, and the air itself seemed to crystallize. Watch. The approaching void ship hit an invisible barrier, not a physical wall, but a fixed point in probability space. Unable to shift between states, it suddenly became solid, vulnerable. The defense turret's next salvo tore through its now material form, sending it crashing to the Martian surface. That's impossible, Harrison whispered, checking his readings. You forced quantum decoherence on a macro scale. Possible, impossible. Those are their limitations, not ours. Amanda turned to the gathered crew. I need volunteers. The transformation hurts, and I won't lie, it will change you forever. But right now, we're the only thing standing between them and Earth. Lieutenant Sarah Chen stepped forward first, her face set with determination. I've seen the markers in my DNA scans. I'm compatible, and I'm ready. Same here, Security Chief Michael Rodriguez said, joining her. Whatever it takes to protect Earth. 4 others stepped forward. Each one Amanda had since carried the hidden sequences. As they moved toward the activation chamber, the Void Collective launched its main assault. Reality buckled as dozens of ships descended, their probability fields distorting everything they touched. I'll hold them off, Amanda promised, her transformed consciousness extending through the quantum fabric of spacetime. Each of you will manifest different abilities. The predecessors designed us for variety, for adaptation. Trust your instincts when you emerge. They engineered this into our very being. As the volunteers entered the chamber, Amanda faced the attacking fleet. Energy coursed through her transformed body as she reached out, not with physical weapons, but with the power to reshape probability itself. The Void Collective's ships hit her quantum barriers, their untouchable forms suddenly becoming solid, vulnerable. Through the facility's speakers, an alien screech of frustration and fear echoed. The first evidence that the Void Collective could feel such emotions. They had come expecting easy prey, a primitive species ready for harvest. Instead, they faced something unprecedented. Humanity awakened, its hidden potential finally unleashed. The battle for Mars had begun, and with it, the next phase of human evolution. Deep beneath the Martian surface, the ancient facility had transformed into humanity's last hope. The activation chamber hummed continuously now, processing compatible candidates as quickly as they could be brought in from Earth. Dr. Amanda Blackwood stood in the training arena, watching as Lieutenant Sarah Chen demonstrated her unique manifestation of the predecessor's gift. Sarah's form blurred, splitting into multiple quantum states simultaneously. Where Amanda could lock probability into place, Sarah could exist in several possibilities at once. 7 variations now, she reported, her voice echoing from different positions, each one fully conscious and combat-ready. Quantum bifurcation, Professor Harrison observed from his monitoring station. She's not just copying herself, she's actually splitting probability streams. Security Chief Rodriguez entered the arena, his transformed body radiating waves of controlled chaos. "Ready for another round?" he asked, his abilities allowing him to accelerate entropy in controlled bursts. Amanda nodded. Her consciousness expanded to monitor all levels of the facility. Through quantum-enhanced senses, she could track the ongoing battles above. The Void Collective had withdrawn to regroup after their first defeat, but their main fleet grew closer each day. "Show me," she commanded. The training session exploded into action. Sarah split into 7 versions, each attacking from a different probability angle. Rodriguez countered by creating zones of accelerated entropy, forcing her duplicates to constantly shift position. The display of power would have been impossible to track with normal human senses. "Their tactics are evolving," Commander Reynolds noted, watching through reinforced observation windows. Each activated individual manifests abilities that complement the others. Amanda smiled, remembering the predecessor's message. "That's why they engineered us this way." The Void Collective operates like a hive mind. Uniform, predictable. But humans. She gestured as Marcus entered, his newly awakened powers allowing him to reverse cause and effect in limited areas. "We're anything but predictable." The facility's alerts suddenly blared. Through quantum-linked communications, they received reports from Earth's defenders. The Void Collective had launched its first probe attacks against lunar outposts. "How many activated so far?" Reynolds demanded, shifting into battle mode. Harrison consulted his data. 87 successful transformations, each one manifesting unique abilities based on their individual genetic markers. But he hesitated. "We're running into compatibility issues. Only 1 in every 1,000 humans carries the required sequences. Then we work with what we have." Amanda's form shimmered as she accessed the facility's deeper systems. "The predecessors left us more than just the activation chamber. They left us their knowledge." The arena's space transformed, holographic displays showing combat data from previous encounters. Sarah's duplicates reformed into a single being as they all focused on the tactical information. "The Void Collective adapts through consensus," Amanda explained. "When they encounter a new threat, all ships modify their approach identically. But that's their weakness. They can't handle multiple simultaneous innovations." Rodriguez nodded, understanding dawning. "That's why each of us manifests differently. We're not just weapons. We're a living tactical evolution." "Exactly." Amanda brought up images of Earth, highlighting defensive positions. "We need to distribute activated individuals strategically. Small teams, each combining different ability sets. Make the collective face 1,000 different problems with 1,000 different solutions." Through the quantum link, they felt more than heard the approaching enemy. The Void Collective had recovered from their initial defeat, and their main fleet now carried enough power to reshape reality on a planetary scale. "They're scared," Sarah observed, her probability-split senses detecting subtle changes in the enemy's approach. "They've never faced anything like us before." "Fear makes them predictable," Rodriguez added, entropy waves curling around his hands. "They're used to being the most advanced force in the galaxy. Now they're facing weapons designed specifically to counter them." Amanda accessed the facility's deepest records, revealing one last secret. "The predecessors didn't just give us powers," she said, displaying ancient star charts. "They gave us a mission. There are other civilizations out there, other worlds at risk. Once we drive the collective from Earth, our real work begins." The transformed humans gathered around the display, each one radiating power that defied physics itself. They had been created as weapons, but they would choose to become protectors. The universe was about to learn why the predecessors had placed their faith in humanity's potential. Earth's orbital space rippled with quantum distortions as the Void Collective's main fleet emerged from their probability shifts. Thousands of ships, each capable of existing in multiple states simultaneously, filled the sky like a swarm of metallic locusts. On the planet below, Dr. Amanda Blackwood stood in Earth Defense Command's central chamber, her transformed consciousness extending through layers of reality. "They're trying to establish a quantum lock on the entire planet," she announced, watching probability waves cascade around the globe. "If they succeed, they'll be able to phase Earth into their harvest dimension." Lieutenant Chen's multiple forms monitored different sectors simultaneously. Activated teams are in position. Rodriguez's entropy squads are ready to disrupt their formation. Through quantum-enhanced communication, Amanda felt the presence of every transformed human on and above the planet. 87 individuals, each wielding different aspects of the predecessor's power, prepared to face an enemy that had consumed countless civilizations. "Remember the strategy," Amanda broadcasted. "Don't fight them directly. Create chaos. Force them to adapt to multiple threats simultaneously." The Void Collective struck first. Reality buckled as their ships began phase-shifting the atmosphere, creating zones where normal physics ceased to function. Emergency reports flooded in from around the globe as gravity fluctuated and time itself began to warp. "Now," Amanda commanded. Rodriguez's team struck first, launching concentrated bursts of entropy that forced portions of the enemy fleet into single quantum states. Sarah's probability splits appeared at strategic points around the globe, each duplicate leading a different tactical assault. Marcus reversed cause and effect in key locations, making enemy weapons fire before they were triggered, disrupting their coordination. The sky above New York shimmered as Dr. Elizabeth Winters, another activated human, deployed her unique ability to crystallize time itself. Void ships caught in her field found themselves locked in temporal loops, unable to shift between states. In orbit, Commander Reynolds, his transformation allowing him to manipulate spatial geometry, created twisted knots in space that trapped and redirected enemy vessels. "They're attempting to adapt," Marcus called out, his sensors detecting changes in the collective's behavior. "Standard pattern." "No," Amanda corrected, seeing deeper. "Something's different." "There?" Her eyes widened. "Everyone brace." The Void Collective's response defied all predictions. Instead of adapting uniformly, their ships began shifting into completely chaotic patterns. The hive mind had done the unthinkable. It had chosen to embrace randomness. "They're sacrificing their coordination," Professor Harrison realized, monitoring the readings. "Trading their greatest strength for unpredictability." Amanda's form shimmered as she extended her consciousness further, touching the quantum fabric that connected all reality. "They don't understand," she said, her voice carrying strange harmonics. "Chaos isn't their weapon. It's ours." She reached out to all activated humans simultaneously, sharing a vision of possibility. "Don't fight individually," she commanded. "Link your powers. Create something new." Understanding flowed through the quantum link. Around the globe, Transformed humans began combining their abilities in ways the predecessors had never imagined. Sarah's probability splits merged with Rodriguez's entropy control, creating cascading waves of chaotic possibility that overwhelmed the enemy's shields. Marcus and Elizabeth synchronized their powers, trapping void ships in causality loops that collapsed their quantum states. In orbit, Commander Reynolds worked with other activated humans to weave a complex geometric pattern through space-time itself. The trap was laid with mathematical precision, using humanity's greatest weapon, innovation. They're retreating. Sarah's multiple voices called out as the Void Collective began to withdraw. Their ships are. No, Amanda interrupted, her enhanced senses detecting the truth. They're gathering for one final attack. They'll try to collapse all probability streams at once. Either they succeed in harvesting Earth, or nothing here will exist at all. Through the quantum link, she felt the determination of every transformed human. They had been created as weapons, but they had chosen to become defenders. As the Void Collective gathered their remaining strength, humanity prepared to show them why the predecessors had chosen Earth as their legacy's cradle. The final phase of the battle was about to begin, and its outcome would determine not just Earth's fate, but the future of all reality. Reality trembled as the Void Collective gathered their remaining ships into a singular geometric pattern above Earth. Their desperate gambit would either grant them victory or ensure mutual destruction. Dr. Amanda Blackwood stood in the ancient Martian facility's control chamber, her transformed consciousness extending across the solar system. "They're combining their quantum fields," she announced, watching probability waves collapse into a single overwhelming force. "If they succeed, they'll create a cascade that will erase our entire reality stream." Through the quantum link, she felt every activated human's response. Not fear, but determination. Lieutenant Chen's multiple forms coordinated defense squadrons, while Rodriguez's entropy teams maintained pressure on the enemy's flanks. Above Earth, Commander Reynolds continued weaving his spatial geometries into an elaborate trap. Final calculations complete, Professor Harrison reported from his station. "Whatever we're going to do, it needs to happen now." Amanda closed her eyes, her awareness touching the deepest parts of the facility. There, in crystalline memory banks that had waited millions of years, she found one last message from the predecessors. Not instructions, but a truth they had hidden within human DNA itself. "We were never meant to be just weapons," she broadcast through the quantum link. "The predecessors didn't create us to fight the Void Collective. They created us to surpass them." Understanding flowed through the connection. Every activated human felt the potential that had always existed within their genes, waiting for this moment. The power they had manifested wasn't their limit. It was just the beginning. "Everyone, link with me," Amanda commanded. "Not just your powers, everything. Every thought, every dream, every possibility you can imagine." The connection deepened. Sarah's probability splits merged into a consciousness that existed across multiple realities. Rodriguez's entropy control expanded to touch the quantum foam of space itself. Marcus and Elizabeth's temporal manipulations stretched to encompass past and future simultaneously. The Void Collective struck. Their combined quantum field began collapsing reality, starting from the outer planets. Neptune winked out of existence, followed by Uranus. The wave of unreality approached Earth with unstoppable force. But humanity had evolved beyond the need for physical weapons. Through their combined consciousness, transformed humans began weaving something new. Not a defense, but a creation. Every individual contributed their unique perspective, their hopes and fears, their capacity to imagine something that had never existed before. The predecessors gave us the power to change reality, Amanda realized, her voice carrying through all probability streams. But our humanity gives us the ability to dream of better ones. Above Earth, reality itself began to transform. The Void Collective's attack met not resistance, but transformation. Every quantum probability they collapsed was reborn in new forms, shaped by human creativity and determination. Their weapon of destruction became a tool of genesis, Impossible. The first direct communication from the Void Collective echoed through space. You cannot rewrite the fundamental laws of existence. Amanda smiled, feeling the combined power of humanity flow through her. We're not rewriting them, she responded. We're imagining new ones. The wave of transformation spread outward from Earth, restoring the erased planets in new forms. The Void Collective ships found themselves caught in a reality that no longer operated by their understood laws. Their quantum shifting became part of a larger dance, one conducted by the combined dreams of an awakened humanity. In the Martian facility, Professor Harrison watched in awe as his instruments tried to make sense of what was happening. We're not just changing space and time, he realized. We're evolving it. The Void Collective retreated, their ships vanishing into probability streams that would never lead them back to Earth. But humanity's transformation couldn't be undone. Through their quantum link, every activated human felt the truth of their new existence and their new purpose. The predecessors knew the Void Collective would force us to evolve, Amanda explained, watching as reality stabilized into its new form. But they also knew we would choose what we would evolve into. The ancient facility, its purpose finally fulfilled, began to transform as well. Its crystalline surfaces flowed like liquid light, reshaping into something new. Humanity's first step into their role as guardians of existence itself. The war was over, but humanity's journey was just beginning. They had been created as weapons but had chosen to become creators. The universe would never be the same, and neither would they.